of the Art Lewis Show. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll have folks from Pride, Positive Results in a Downtown Environment, and the Michigan Arsenal football team. We're going to be talking about their home opener coming up this Saturday and some tailgating going on and all kinds of fun stuff. At 11 o'clock, Karmanos Cancer Institute will be the subject of focus. This hour, we're going to start out talking about work zone safety. It is that time of year where the orange barrels come out in force, and the safety of the workers and others who are working in those zones is critically important. And a couple of folks from MDOT to talk about it this morning. First of all, we welcome to the program Ryan McDonald. Ryan, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Thanks for joining us today. And also with MDOT, Caitlin French this morning. Caitlin, good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Good to hear from both of you. If I'm reading the numbers right, last year was a better year, but still, if I read this right, 25 people lost their lives in work zones. And
yep, those are the statistics that we're looking at, and obviously 25 is 25 too many, correct?
Even though it's a reduction, but yes, 25 is too many. One is too many. What do you see as the major impact? What's the most cause of these accidents?
From the region standpoint, where we're sitting at with the crashes that we've seen in our area, a lot of it is due to inattentive drivers, right? Obviously, technology, phones in the vehicle is a problem. People driving distracted when they're coming up to the work zone, driving too fast. Just a combination of different driver behaviors.
I have to believe speed has something to do with it, because in driving through a work zone, if you slow down to the proper speed for that work zone, you are going to get blown by car after car after car. What do we need to do to slow them down?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do on some of our, especially our bigger projects, our higher speed locations, is MDOT is able to partner with MSP to take some of the project funds and put them towards law enforcement, in that work zone, or just having a presence there to slow people down. And when we've done that, it's been very effective. Unfortunately, funding is always a challenge sometimes, and then having law enforcement availability can be a challenge. But it is one of the best tools that we have that we're able to use, and MSP has been a great partner in being able to help out with that, and not just MSP. We can look at having our local agencies help us out in that capacity also.
Yeah. A lot of states do that now. I know driving through Pennsylvania, for example, if you come to a work zone on the Turnpike or 80, there's going to be a highway patrol car sitting in the beginning and near the end, even if they're not occupied, and it slows people down.
Yep. Yeah, having that preference or that presence is a big help for sure.
Caitlin, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask Caitlin. There's been discussion of work zone cameras and license plate readers and the like. Where are we with that?
Yeah, so for our work zone safety cameras, so we're kind of in the process of this. It's kind of uncharted territory for our department. So it's a little complex to get the ball up and rolling with this, because we're not an enforcement agency by nature. So this is kind of a new Wild West, so to speak, for us. So we've got a little bit of a longer lead time, leading to develop this and to get the ball rolling. We're hoping that by 2027, we should see some work zones around the state that will have these safety cameras in place. And just kind of on the note, we're calling them work zone safety cameras because the intention is to improve safety and adjust driving behavior. It's not meant to be a, we got you, we trapped you in the mousetrap kind of thing. But the whole point at the end of the day is to get people to slow down, protect the people that are out there working.
And last year, there were thousands of work zone crashes, weren't there? Not all of them were.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Our preliminary data we got right now has us just shy of 6,000, so 5,942 work zone crashes.
That's a lot.
Definitely.
You know it's a reduction, and it's hard to say only 25 people lost their lives, but that's a reduction. But still, that's way too many. I mean, it's unrealistic. It's scary, actually, in a way. And a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is zero, right? We'd like to have everybody get to where they want to go at the end of the day.
And a lot of these were car to car, weren't they? I mean, they were crashes between two vehicles in the same work zone.
Yes, primarily. Yep.
Have we been trending lower over the years, or is the lower an anomaly?
The long-term trend is obviously cars are getting safer. So the good news is, as far as fatalities and that kind of stuff, it's trending maybe a little bit more downwards. Unfortunately, the crashes are staying even or maybe slightly going up. But again, the distraction in the vehicles continues to be, a challenge.
Despite the fact we have laws where stay off your phone and do all of that, and we're trying to curb distracted driving, it just doesn't seem to have an impact.
Yeah, there's just something about those cell phones. And something we've been telling people to kind of think of, like you and I at our desks, it'd be like if we had cars shooting like 80 miles an hour plus, like right past our desk all day.
Yeah.
And just trying to get people to kind of imagine what that would be like.
And it only takes one of them to be a little off course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, one off course.
And anyone who's been on the road has had a close call. Anyone working out on the road or, whether it be construction or doing field reviews or something like that. I think anyone at MDOT who's spent any majority of time out on the road can go back and think of a story where, man, that was a close one.
And construction zones in Michigan, they're everywhere. There is no way to construct a safety zone, a work zone that's totally safe, is there?
Well, everything's trade-offs, right? And we're trying to balance between actually getting the work done in a timely fashion and having a good finished product, right? And then making sure people, can get to where they need to go as safely and as quickly as possible, because delay causes safety issues in itself, and then keeping our workers safe that actually have to do the work. So we spend a lot of time in the plan development process trying to balance all those needs the best we can. Unfortunately, it's a give and take, and we're trying to thread that needle.
When MSP is involved in a work site, are they writing citations?
It depends on, from my conversations with them, yes, they are writing citations. It depends on the driver and what the infraction is. But yes, they do write citations.
That seems to me to be the biggest deterrent right now, is having a presence, police presence.
Yep, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Are other communities, do you get other departments involved besides MSP, local sheriff's departments or anything of that nature?
Yep, we have the ability to set funds aside for those folks as well to get them out. MSP is by far with it being a sister agency.
Sure.
Within the state, it's easier financially to get them on board. But yes, we can definitely have other local agencies help out as well.
So, Caitlin, you're standing in front of a group of drivers. What do you tell them about being safe through work zones?
I think the biggest thing, like we've emphasized, is put that phone down. No text, no Facebook message, no TikTok video is worth somebody's life. I think that's the biggest thing. And then I would probably follow it up with, expect changes, expect the unexpected. You never know what you might be encountering on the road. You've got reduced speed limits, you've got traffic lanes changing, you've got vehicles, equipment that may enter the work zone, enter the lanes of traffic. So expect that. And then also slow down. Don't be afraid to be the slow car. Don't be afraid to be the one, like on I-75 there where we got that work zone. Saginaw County, don't be afraid to go the 60. Set a good pace, set a good example for people.
Yeah, that really is critical. Stay off the phones first and foremost. Even though it's illegal in the state of Michigan, it's one of those, things that's hard to enforce. So, yeah, stay off the phones, don't be distracted, and all that good stuff. I do have to ask, Ryan, though, many people have said, in talking to them on the air and off the air, that they have a problem with extensive work zones where there's no work. In other words, you see the cones are out, the speed signs are up, maybe it's a 2-mile hunk of road, you drive through it and there's not a single soul doing anything, it's just cones out, and they find that frustrating.
Yep, and I completely understand that frustration. We make a lot of effort to make sure that when we do set those zones up that there's a good reason for it, right? Anytime you're taking a lane away from traffic, you're impacting the safety of that section of road and potential delays. So, we're very cognizant of trying to do that. And while it may appear that there's nothing going on, there's often good reasons. There's some kind of hazard. A good example of what you're talking about is like on I-75 right now within our region, kind of south of Bridgeport, Birch Run area. We have a number of bridges that we're working on, and we have a really long lane closure. And over the years, safety studies, that kind of stuff, we found that giving a lane, taking a lane away for each of one of those bridge projects that's there is a lot more unsafe than having the continuous lane closure. Sometimes there could be concrete curing that we have to keep traffic off of. Sometimes there could be a hazard, whether it be not having protection, some kind of bridge project, that kind of stuff. So we are not just doing that willy-nilly or, just for the fun of it. Our plan isn't to make things worse for drivers, but we do have good reasons for it, and we try to make sure that perception isn't out there, and we want to make sure that when we do have the lane closures for a good reason.
Yeah, Caitlin, in closing, I have to bring this up because I get asked about it all the time. State Street in Saginaw, the project.
Your favorite project, right?
What's the end date now?
I don't have a firm one in hand. We've had a lot of rain lately.
Yeah.
So we're hoping, though, late spring, early summer. As soon as I have an update, we'll get it out there. Just a reminder for folks who are listening to, it was supposed to wrap up last year, but it was delayed. Last spring, we had a bunch of utility work that we needed to get done before we could get going on our project. And the utility crews were actually up north assisting our neighbors up there during that big ice storm they had. So we're a little delayed, but we're hoping to wrap things up and get that open as soon as we can.
And realistically, the Davenport one-ways have worked out far better than I ever thought they would.
Yeah, they've worked out really well.
They've worked out really well. Yeah. So you're going to do that in Midland now on Buttles, right? Same thing.
Yeah, that's in place right now. Yep.
Very good. Well, guys, we'll get everybody hopefully to slow down, stay off their phones, and be safe through the work zones.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. Thank
Ryan,
you for having us.
Yep. Ryan, Caitlin, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Art.
All righty. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Yep. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Ryan McDonald and Caitlin French from MDOT on work zone safety. We'll have open phones now for the remainder of the hour. 989-752-6111 will be the number to call and participate in the program with whatever you'd like to chat about today. Right now, Let's see your car's suspension and alignment and tires and wheels, and you should have them checked. And I'm going to give you a way to have that done for free because our friends at Quick Lane Freeland are offering a complimentary alignment check. They will take your vehicle, check the alignment. If there are problems, they will let you know. They have the ability to fix them if you desire. They also, if they find that your tires are bad, can give you new tires for just $5 over cost. But alignment is a critical part of driving. It keeps you on the straight and narrow. And if you want to know more about it, listen to this from John at Quick Lane Freeland.
If your vehicle's wheels are aligned correctly, it will not pull to the left or to the right when driving. It also prevents improper tread wear, so your tires last longer. A wheel alignment should be checked often because normal steering wear and tear can cause your alignment to go out in addition to potholes and railroad crossings. A correct alignment also reduces rolling resistance on your tires for better fuel mileage.
So all around, that alignment is important. Keeps you safe, keeps you on the straight and narrow, keeps your repair costs lower. So think about that. Stop out to Quick Lane Freeland and get that complimentary alignment check. Quick Lane Freeland is where you can go for all of your routine auto maintenance. It's part of the McDonald Ford property. There's two names for you, McDonald Ford and Quick Lane Freeland. Remember those names. They're there to help you with all your automotive needs.
Save big on everything for your next. This is a test of the emergency.
All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show. Open phones for the remainder of the hour. Joe starts us out in Saginaw. And Joe, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Art, to you and all of your listeners. I'd like to take a different path today. I'd like to think about or have your listeners call in and tell me what their favorite way of getting rid of the blahs is. For example, yeah, see? So, for example, if I'm getting frustrated, sometimes I'll think about the last person that gave me a big, long hug, and it was somebody I'm so glad to have that hug from. That lowers my blood pressure. Yeah, lowers my blood pressure. Sometimes I'll take a grandchild and I'll rock them or talk to them or read to them. Sometimes I'll try to focus, like right now this morning, what made me think about this in part is I have all this crap on my kitchen table of magazines and bills and newspapers, etc.
I got the same table.
So in order to go to attack it, I have to focus on doing one thing at a time, which I'm doing.
Yep.
And then the last thing, if you're really irritated by the economy, I don't know what anybody else does, but I just read a Wall Street Journal article about the luxury good market, the really, really expensive high stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They've been struggling for years. The rich people aren't spending money on this fancy stuff anymore. So if misery loves company, there I am.
Well, but there is a story. We just had a story in the news that American Express says their platinum card holders are still spending, and they're the high-end spenders. And they said they're still spending at a record level. So, sometimes you shake your head and you go, I don't understand this.
Yeah, well, anyway. So what are the things that make the blahs go away for your listeners? That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Thanks again. You brighten my day.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for calling. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Take care. Bye.
Should tell him for me, I'm a model builder and build ships and things like that. And that's what I do. I mean, if I go down in the basement to work on one of my models, my mind is focused on that, nothing else. It's an escape for an hour, 2 hours, whatever time I spend. And I've always been able to do that. Always been able to do that. I try not to let the blahs get me down, actually. I always look for something positive if I have to. Let's talk to Carl in Saginaw. Carl, good morning. What do you do to get rid of the blahs?
I like to be outside. I like to go outside, and do yard work or gardening or walk the dog, especially now that the weather has changed. I like to be outside as much as I can, or even, sit outside in the backyard
Yeah.
last night for a little while. It was nice.
Yeah, no, that's good. Very good. So what's
Yeah.
up?
So, Art, I'd like to know where I come to pick up my Art Lewis T-shirt.
Dream
So
on.
just give me the address and the hours, and I'll stop and I'll pick up my T-shirt. So you can let me know about that.
Yeah, I'll let you. Don't hold your breath, but I'll let you know.
Okay. You were talking about the State Street Road project in
Yeah.
Saginaw.
Yep.
There's something I don't understand, and I've been dealing with this, the detours and everything,
Yeah, so
for the
have I.
last year.
Right.
Bay Road South, when it that carries a lot of traffic, especially like early in the morning or
Yep.
rush hour in the afternoon. Bay Road South, they narrow it down to one lane at Davenport, and then it opens back up to two lanes when it gets to State Street. But because they narrow it to one lane at Davenport, it backs up for blocks and blocks and blocks.
Yeah, that is the one. That is the one backup area in the whole system. They must have
I
a
don't
reason.
understand.
I don't either, but they must have a reason because that traffic down to that one lane then goes straight across, and and there are two lanes once
But
they
then
get
it
across.
opens back up.
Yeah,
It opens back up to two lanes at State Street.
yeah. I can't tell you. If I would have thought about it, I would have asked them. I have a meeting this afternoon that MDOT's going to be at, and I'll ask.
Okay, because I feel sorry for those people that
But
are
that-
trying to get through there.
However,
at
that
4
is
o'clock.
yeah, that is the only sore spot in that whole thing. I'm pretty amazed at how well the one-ways really work. They've been doing a pretty good job.
Pretty much. But that one section there, I cannot figure it.
Yeah, I'll
And
ask.
Okay, sounds good.
See if we can get an answer. All right. Talk to you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye now. And we will be back. Lines open for you.
Gotta go.
All right, we're back with you. Still have time for a few calls. 989-752-6111. I want to go back to what Joe asked about how you get rid of the blahs. I was thinking about that. I mentioned I'm a model builder and I can go down and escape with my models, if you will. But I also have something else I do. When I am feeling down, and that's not often, it takes a lot to get me down. Sometimes when I should be down, I'm not. But when I am, or feeling a little off color, I seek out friends who I view as positive people. The best way I've found to get rid of the blahs is to be with somebody who doesn't have the blahs. And it kind of snaps me out of it. And I have a group of friends who are like that. They're positive people. And I find that helps me. So if you ever find yourself in the blahs, so to speak, as Joe put it, think about that. Find somebody positive to hang around with for a while. See what that does for you. Follow up on something we talked about yesterday, and that was the Virginia redistricting. It's been knocked down by a Virginia judge. Tazewell County Circuit Judge Jack Hurley Jr. called the ballot measure to approve the maps flagrantly misleading. And Virginia's Democratic Attorney General Jay Jones said in a statement posted to social media, he will appeal the ruling and look forward to defending the measure. And then he goes on to say, and I love this, an activist judge should not have the power of the people's vote, according to Jay. Apparently his definition of an activist judge is someone who rules against him, because there are as many activist judges on the Democrat and Republican side, more than we need. We need people that simply do what they're supposed to do. But it will Eventually, this is going to end up in the Supreme Court. That's my view of it. But for now, it will not be the rule of the land in Virginia. And what I chuckled at a little bit, and remember, this was narrowly passed by the voters of Virginia. This was a ballot referendum, not a legislative law. And there have been multiple challenges to it. And the measure said the new districts would restore fairness. Now, catch this. Out of 11 legislative districts in the state of Virginia, the Democrats already hold 6. This would give them a 10-1 advantage. Where's that fairness? And what it is, it's a response to what's been going on around the country. It all started with President Trump in Texas, and they did their redistricting, and then California responded, and other states have responded. It's been pretty much even across the board. Blue states, red states that have done this. And it's been pretty much a wash in terms of it. As a matter of fact, I read an article where it was speculated that Republicans have a slight, the way the word was put, slight edge after all is said and done. I'm an old-fashioned purist. I don't believe redistricting should take place except in census years when you see the numbers, you know your population, good and bad, pros and cons, and then you redistrict. This midterm redistricting for political reasons, and let's be honest, that's all it is for political reasons, I find abhorrent. I do not approve of it either way. I don't approve of it in Texas, and I didn't approve of it in California and any other state that does it, because they're not doing it for the right reasons. Bottom line. So we'll see what happens with this, but right now anyway, it's been struck down. It'll go to appeal and then eventually to the Supremes. All right. Let's take a quick break here. We'll get to Mark, who's in Mount Pleasant.
At Crystal Clear Hearing in Sac.
And in the right, Green racing around third. Throw to the plate, not in time.
All right, we're back with you, and let's get back to our phones. Mark is in Mount Pleasant. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Good.
Hey, in Bay City, there's an open position for a city manager. This position was held since 2017, Dana Muscat. The people that hire her, did they not foresee her term ending and that they need to hire someone? Because I see on Facebook, anybody can apply that's over 50.
Yeah, but they've already, I think they have a list of applicants, and I think they've had a headhunting firm helping. Not positive about that, but I think so. And they just extended Dana to June 30th, so they have time to do the interviews and all of that stuff. Listen, when you hire somebody, particularly in the world of politics and government management, there's no guarantee how long they're going to be around, for various reasons. A, they can decide to retire, and B, the town or township can decide to get rid of them. You don't know.
At will employment, I understand that, but don't they have a term, and once the term's up, then it's replaced, right?
Well, no, but what happens is her contract gets renewed, which is what happened to her a few times.
Oh.
So you get near the end of the contract, and the city council decides to renew the contract. So on you go.
All right.
Yep.
Fair.
All righty.
Fair enough.
Take care.
All righty, sir. Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Yep, bye.
And let's talk to Terry in Bay City. Terry, good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Good morning.
The first thing I got to say, I agree with you on about 98% of the stuff you talk about.
All right. Let's talk about the other 2%. No.
Yeah, well, no, we won't get into that. But, this redistricting in the states, and they shift all these boundaries around, isn't it the districts aren't they split up by population? And there's supposed to be X amount of people in each district.
Yeah, that's why you do it at the census years when you know what your population is.
Exactly, and they're moving all these lines around. I mean, how are they taking 40 people from one area and putting 40 people in the other area?
Well,
it just doesn't seem possible.
Oh, it's possible, but you end up with really screwy-looking districts. I mean, but it's possible. You can always move lines. You shape the lines to the population and to what your result is that you want. That's what gerrymandering is. In this state, in Michigan, we got rid of it because we have this supposed neutral commission that does it.
Yeah.
Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And you know,
21 on it.
I'm sorry?
Isn't there like 21 people on it or something?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that many, but it's a bunch. And, look at the redistricting map they drew. There are some districts that are atrocious in their geographic area. Others look pretty good, but some of them, in order to get the right numbers and to keep it as neutral as possible, I remember
that now.
Yeah.
Because it was down around Detroit that they were really trying to jack some numbers around somehow.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to build a district that's, it's got the right number of people in it and balances out and all that.
Right.
I don't know that it's the best system, but it's the one we have. And if indeed it does remove political consideration, well, that's an improvement.
I agree to that.
So
they were agreeing on 98% again.
Back to that 2%.
There you go. That's all right. I enjoyed listening to you, and have a good day, sir.
You too, Terry. Thanks for calling. Take care. Bye-bye now.
You bet.
I love that. He agrees with me 98% of the time. I'd like to know what that 2% is out of curiosity, because I think he's absolutely right, because I don't know anyone I agree with 100% of the time, all the time, on everything. It's what makes us human. So it gives us a brain and able to think for ourselves. So I appreciate the fact that there are 2% in there that he and I disagree on. I'll have to talk to Terry sometime, find out what that 2% is, just for the fun of it. Because a lot of times you find out, and then you find out, well, are we that far apart? Maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, that's going to do it for this first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we'll tell you what's ahead right after these notes.
Got a home repair problem? Don't get mad.
One earlier said this evening. They are on at 12:45 this afternoon. All right, that'll do it for this first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we're going to be talking again about the Michigan Arsenal football team and the Pride organization, and something coming up with the team this weekend, their home opener in Saginaw. All of that follows the news from CBS, the local report with Michael Percha. I'm Art Lewis. We'll be back right after the news.
Broadcasting from the